Hey guys, Nick here, and as you guys know, the brand new Aquaman trailer just dropped online. Well, dropped a lot earlier. I just got off of work, unfortunately, so it's about 2:15 in the afternoon here in San Diego. I know the trailer dropped about, well, it's like almost 5.5 hours ago. So obviously because I had to work, I couldn't watch the trailer live with a lot of you guys. But here I am to do this reaction anyway. I'm super excited for it. I was surprised to see that this is a 5-minute long trailer. I've never seen Warner Brothers or almost any studio do something like that, unless it's like an extended like clip or like look into the movie or whatever. But I'm excited for this nonetheless. Obviously I have like my Aquaman Getty Shark t-shirt. Obviously you guys know the whole Getty Shark controversy thing a few months back. Good on you, because I think it's pretty funny. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up now and finally watch this 5-minute long trailer with you guys. So without further ado, here we go.
My parents were from different worlds. And I was a product of a love that never should have been.
He could unite our worlds one day.
A son of the land.
Oh, that's so sad.
And a son of the seas.
Yeah.
Your mother always knew you were special.
You are a part of something deeper.
Literally.
You are the bridge between land and sea. Take your rightful place as king.
That's cool. The Warner Brothers and DC logo, that's pretty cool.
We're getting close now.
Eh, close to what? Dying of thirst? There's no way Atlantis were this far inland.
Nailed some
Check
Indiana
this
Jones
place
vibes
out.
here.
This is bad!
It's real. Nothing.
Of course it's not working. It's been sitting here collecting dust since before the Sahara was a desert.
Before the Sahara was a desert. Let's just say you do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all. All right, now hold still.
Hey, what are you doing?
We need water. Near the closest
That's
source.
cool.
Show off. We could have just peed on it.
I knew that joke was coming at some point. Not a huge fan of it, but it's whatever. Not the worst joke in the world. That's cool.
In this trident resides the power of Atlantis.
Atlantis looks so visually amazing.
If you seek my power,
That's so cool.
journey beyond the edge of the world to the hidden sea.
Warm.
In the
Seems
wrong
definitely for
hands,
sure.
it would bring destruction.
Oh,
But in the hands of the true heir, it would unite all our kingdoms,
so cool.
above and below. Hey, wait!
What?
Should we have written it down first?
I memorized it. Didn't you?
Oh, yeah, totally.
What did you say?
Something, something, trident.
The beast has awakened. The time has come
Oh, hey.
for
Go Thunder.
Atlantis to rise again.
Manta. I know it's Manta. So cool. I talked to him in person.
Who the hell are you?
So cool. This is a really well-directed action sequence here. I'm getting a lot of like Indiana Jones and Uncharted vibes from this. I guess the trailer is more to like showcase this particular action sequence, which is fine with me because I think it's probably one of the best looking action sequences I've seen in a long time.
That was awesome.
It was.
The war is coming to the surface. You are not going to win this.
Billions will die unless you help us.
Oh, Atlanta being badass. That was a bad feeling. I know she fucking ended up being dead in this.
I'm no leader.
We should ask her.
I'm not a king.
Atlantis has always had a king. Now it needs something more.
So cool.
But what could be greater than a king?
Yeah!
A hero.
Looks so good in it. Really? That's it? That's the 5 minutes? Wow, that really flew by. So obviously there's a lot to digest with that. Probably the big takeaway is that heavy action sequence in the middle there. I remember seeing a lot of set photos of there, and I remember immediately being like, okay, this is starting to feel like an Indiana Jones, Uncharted kind of thing. Which I love. I love both of those franchises. But for me, like watching this trailer, like I would say, like, I would wish that there was a little more of the score from the actual movie. I'm a score junkie, so I'm always big fans of that kind of stuff. So we didn't hear too much of it. I mean, I don't think. I mean, that's fine. That's like a minor complaint. I'm glad we got to see more of Atlanta and a little bit more of Arthur's backstory, seeing him a little younger, and him with his parents, with Atlanta, and Thomas Curry, I believe is Arthur's dad's name, played by Tamora Morrison, who Boba Fett from the Star Wars prequels, or Jango Fett. I'm sorry. Well, he voices Boba now, so whatever. But the one thing I really, and I'm not sure if I stated this before. I mean, I probably have, but the visuals of this movie are so fantastic, and I know a lot of people want to complain about CGI, but like, how else are you gonna make Atlantis? Like, you can't make it look hyper realistic. It's an underwater kingdom. Like, that's literally what it is, an underwater society. And well, it's like if you look at, like, for example, I know a lot of people make this comparison to Bash, Aquaman, or at least they made it previously. But look at like Black Panther. Like, that shows like what you can do in terms of visuals with a culture and a group of people isolated from the outside world, and how advanced their culture can be without the restraints of man, without the restraints of the white man. Really, that's really a big thing here. Obviously, there's white people in Atlantis, but I just mean in terms of like like colonial, like Englishmen and European men who like basically like screwed up everyone in the world, screwed up everywhere in the world. Just to see like what a society can look like outside of that, and how advanced, how more advanced it could be outside of main like land culture or whatever. So again, like for me, like the visuals of Atlantis, I think have always been amazing. And of course, in the first trailer, I did get a lot of those like prequel vibes from Star Wars in terms of the visuals, where it looked like where Jar Jar Binks was from. I can't remember what that part of Naboo was called. And I know people don't always want to compare like Star Wars prequels to anything, because a lot of people hate the Star Wars prequels. I don't hate them as much as most people, but that's another topic for another day. Jason Momoa in this trailer so far, and so far in the movie, like, he looks like he's having so much fun playing this character. And I remember I'm not sure if I've stated this before, when he was first announced, well, at the time when there was rumors circulating that he was going to be playing Aquaman, I'm like, I don't know, because at that point I hadn't seen him in anything at all. All I knew was that he was the new Conan in that Conan reboot that everyone hated, so I was just going off of that. And at the time, I'll admit, like, I was being unfair to him in terms of his casting, and I was just like, oh, well, everyone said he sucks. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, he sucks then. So when he was very, like, firstly announced, or like in the running, I was like, okay, like, the Jason Momoa is not Aquaman. He's not. I'd rather have anyone else. And then slowly but surely, I really grew around to the idea of having a Polynesian Aquaman, like, because it makes so much more sense. Like, granted, like, his Polynesian half is come from his father, who is obviously not from Atlantis, so that's one aspect of the character that they aren't exactly, they are mixing the Polynesian culture within Atlantis itself. But to have a character as big as Aquaman, I would say Aquaman's a popular character. A lot of people know who he is. And I think he's gotten more popular since, his New 52 run in Justice League, written by Jeff Johns. And that's where a lot of this movie is taking inspiration from. And I think that's some of the best character moments for Aquaman have come from. Was just from the New 52 and Jeff Johns. And what Jason has been able to do, he's playing Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Obviously, that's who he is. But just, it feels like obviously like he's having fun. He's not always being super serious. And I know the big complaint about the DC movies have been, these movies have been way too serious and too dark and blah blah blah. I think this movie will have a good balance of serious moments and comedic moments. The only thing that didn't land for me in the trailer was, again, that pee joke. I know a lot of people have already complained about it. Again, it is what it is. It's not the worst joke in the world, but, it is what it is. I'm not, upset and, up in arms, how dare they make a joke in a DC movie? I'm not one of those kinds of people. It's ridiculous. A DC movie can have humor and seriousness. It's just a matter of balance to me and how that works out. That's why I'm not a fan of a lot of MCU movies as of late. I mean, granted, Infinity War and Black Panther aside, a lot of them just have too much humor and not enough depth and not enough story that makes me care about the people in the movie and and they have no stakes to me. A lot of them, like Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Age of Ultron. There's a lot of those movies. For me, they don't have a good enough balance of seriousness, humor, heart, levity, all things I think are almost required for movies like this. And a lot of people want to criticize the DC movies for being too dark and then trying to play catch up with Marvel and blah blah blah. Even Justice League situation aside, and even to an extent Suicide Squad, I still enjoy Suicide Squad. It's a mess, but I think it's an enjoyable mess. I still think Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman are some of the best superhero films ever made. And I know that I'm probably going to get hate for this for anyone who's not new to my channel, or who is new to my channel, or new to my opinions on these things. I honestly think, and obviously my bias is showing because I'm a huge DCU fan. Obviously, I'm the host of the DC Films podcast. But for me, Batman v Superman, at least the Ultimate Edition, is honestly one of my favorite films of all time. I think it's one of the best films ever made. And I know a lot of people hate Batman v Superman. I acknowledge that. And people are you have to acknowledge this. I'll just call it bad. Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna call it bad if I don't honestly believe so. I called out Justice League being terrible. I like the Zack Snyder parts of Justice League, but there's so much of the shitty Joss and Warner Brothers interference in that movie that I can't really enjoy it anymore. So I'll call Warner Brothers and DC out on that because I'm not a blind fanboy. I'm not. I call Suicide Squad a mess. But again, to me, that's an enjoyable mess. Justice League to me isn't really an enjoyable mess. I can enjoy certain moments in it because I know they're Zack's, but beyond that, I can't really call that a good movie. I can't. And as a fan, again, I'm not blind to that. And going into movies like Aquaman and Shazam, I'm so happy to see that the DCEU, despite how many people want it to fail, is still alive and thriving well. I think to have someone like James Wan, especially, who is best known for horror, he has done such a great job with this movie in terms of the trailers and the visuals and how we've been promoting this movie. And that this is going to be a different comic book film. It really is. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be, I think it's going to be really unique in terms of the comic book genre itself. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be as, an important as let's say, a Wonder Woman or a Black Panther in terms of, the social issues within the film itself that it addresses and the social importance within the world itself. I still think there's a lot of important things to be talked about in terms of Aquaman. Obviously, you have an Asian man directing. You have a Polynesian man playing a typically blonde-haired, blue-eyed character. There's so many more layers to this movie than just being, it's another comic book film. But at the same time, it is going to be different from, like I said, Black Panther or Wonder Woman and other films of that ilk. So for me, watching this trailer, it's so nice to sit down and just have a big smile on my face for the majority of the trailer, because the humor works so well. The dynamic between Arthur and Mira works so well. I wish we did get a little bit more of Orm, but it was we got so much more of Black Manta, which I think was great. Black Manta looks phenomenal to me, and I shared this last time we had a trailer reaction, and I've shared the story a couple of times. But I was lucky enough because I live here in San Diego, and the last couple of years at Comic-Con I've been a volunteer, so I get in for free, so I get to do certain things at the convention for 3 hours a day as my volunteer. time, and then I had the rest of the day to do whatever I want, or before and after. And so it was the Saturday of Comic-Con when the first Aquaman trailer dropped. I was waiting by the DC booth. So once the DC and Warner Brothers panel got out of Hall H, a lot of the DC cast would head over to the DC booth and do like the signings and stuff like that when they would premiere the trailers for everyone outside of Hall H. And when they did that, as the Aquaman cast was showing up, you know, Patrick Wilson and Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who play Orm and Black Manta respectively, I immediately say hi to them. They both say hi, and I had this brief conversation with Yahya. Obviously, he's playing Black Manta. And he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, man? I'd like the suit." I'm like, "Yeah, man." He like asked me for my name. We had a brief chat. It was really, really cool. The fact that like I got to talk to the guy who played Black Manta. That's really cool. And I've had like a brief interaction with him on Twitter in the past, but still, like in person, interact with someone who's playing one of the coolest characters in all of comic books in terms of like villains. I think that was really a cool moment, like for me as a hardcore DC fanboy. So I feel like I'm veering off topic a bit. I just like telling that story because like I'm always like geeking out just like the thought of like hey, like I fucking met Black Manta and he actually talked to me and asked for my name, so that was really cool. Like and going back to the trailer, there was so much to love about it. Honestly, and Amber Heard, looks so great as Mira. She was a scene stealer in Justice League. I know, like in the podcast, we've debated whether or not her scene with Jason was a reshoot or it was Zack. A lot of people say reshoot. A lot of people say, oh, maybe it's Zack's. Either way, she kicked ass in both. I mean, if it was Joss or was Zack, she kicked ass, and I wanted to see so much more of her. And that's why I'm so excited to see her in this movie. She looks fantastic. I don't care if her hair is like too red. It's Mira. It's a comic book movie. Get over it. It's like it's one of those things. It's like okay, like it doesn't have to be hyper realistic for me to enjoy it, or I don't have to believe 100% like oh this is actually real, really happening. Like I enjoy that about Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Wonder Woman to an extent, and the Suicide Squad, less so, but those kind of things are still kind of there. But for me, it's just nice to be able to watch this trailer and enjoy it just for what it is. Wow, I've been rambling for a long time now. So those are my thoughts on the trailer overall. All the visuals are great. Jason Momoa looks great. Amber Heard, Nicole Kidman, Patrick Wilson, Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Everyone looks great. The action looks great. Everything looks great. My only criticism was that one joke and a lack of like memorable like trailer music or the score from the film. Again, minor gripes. At the end of the day, not that big a deal. So what did you guys think about it? If you guys liked it or didn't like it, sign your thoughts in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up. If you guys want to listen to our full trailer breakdown for the DC Films podcast, I can't guarantee a date when we're gonna be doing it. Obviously, you guys just saw my live reaction for the first time. I hadn't seen this trailer before. So when we do talk about it in the podcast, again, I can't guarantee when we're going to be filming it. It should be the next week or so. We're going to be doing a full breakdown of the trailer. And if, at some point, I know if you guys are listening, I apologize for our breaks and delays in between filming podcast episodes. It's so hard between everyone's personal lives and work schedules, and we literally have members from all over the world. So it's hard to get everyone lined up for a single day to do a few hours worth of DC talk. And as of late, there have been a few people among us who haven't been fully available. So if you guys have been listening to the last couple podcasts, you probably noticed certain people aren't there. Some people going through some of the personal stuff in their lives. Nothing bad. Just they're busy with work or they're busy with their family life or like reprioritizing things. Obviously, I'm not going to ask them to put their life aside for a podcast. It's not worth it. Like they're my friends. They're worth more to me than just their time on my podcast or our podcast. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening and watching along. Again, sign your thoughts in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you are a DCEU fan, I highly recommend listening to the channel. There's so much we talk about in terms of the DCEU and just DC films as a whole. It's just, I seriously, check out the podcast. I'm not trying to really plug it in here, but like, seriously, like, if you guys are fans, there's so much discussion that's been had over the last year and a half that we've been doing this podcast. So seriously, give us a listen. Thank you so much for your time, and until next time, have a good one, guys.